Welcome to my second video in a series on the Chinese Communist Party. I am doing these videos because I believe the CCP is a threat to the United States, both economically and militarily, and people need to be aware. The CCP actions speak louder than words, and in this video I will be covering the COVID-19 worldwide crisis and the actions or non-actions of the Chinese Communist Party. All my sources are provided at the end of the video for your reference. The coronavirus has now spread to the entire world, and it finally seems that our government at all levels are finally getting their act together so they can start focusing on the actions of the CCP that I consider to be a threat to the United States. This video is on the coronavirus and specifically the role of the Chinese Communist Party during this crisis. Please keep in mind I said the Chinese Communist Party, not the Chinese people. The people are similar to us and are hardworking and family-oriented. The big difference, though, is the CCP controls everything people see or read, and the people are generally kept in the dark on most international issues. Why? Because the number one concern of the CCP is the Chinese people, and they are extremely scared of doing anything that would raise the ire of the people. Remember, there are 1.5 billion people in China. That's a lot. It's not a force to be irritated or easily calmed if angry. Let's review some of the actions of the CCP, specifically. When did the Chinese Communist Party know about the virus? That's a good question. There's a lot of information floating around, but according to a piece in the National Review, they knew about the virus sometime in November. Now, it might have only been a bit of information here and there, but nonetheless, they had an idea of a potential issue. And of a special note is that China is not unfamiliar with viruses. The Asian flu of 1956, SARS in 2002, and H7N9 in 2013 all came from China. So they have experience in identifying and dealing with viruses of various kinds. Now, add in that there are 4 labs in Wuhan, and you would think they would be open to an investigation sooner rather than later. During my short research, I did not find any evidence that the Chinese government took any initial signs seriously. That was a mistake. But with limited information, we can't expect China to close a country or major city down or even contact the WHO at this point. But you would think they would open a preliminary investigation and that would be a good idea. Maybe they were concerned at this time, but I could find nothing. Let's look at what we do know about actions taken by the CCP. Axios has put together a great timeline of events from multiple sources including the Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, and the South China Post. These chronological events provide a view into the actions of China. In early December, the first patients begin to show up at hospitals in Wuhan, and they are found to be resistant to anti-flu drugs. By the end of the month, another 27 cases are confirmed. Also by the end of the month, the World Health Organization is notified. So the WHO is fully engaged in working with the Chinese government by the end of December. By the 2nd of January, Chinese researchers successfully mapped the genetic information of the virus. But they wait another week before they announce the findings. What confuses me with this delay is that the world is in a crisis, so why wait to provide this information? Maybe I'm just reading too much into this. I don't want to start any rumors, so I will leave it there until further information comes out. Another important event is January 14th, when the WHO announces that Chinese authorities have seen no evidence of human-to-human transmissions of the virus. What I would like to know is how did the WHO determine this? Or did they just take China's word? I could not find any details on this, but you would think by this time and the hospitalizations that have already occurred that it would be known that this virus was transmitted by human to human contact. Why would this type of information be delayed or hidden from the public? Then, in mid January, a case in Thailand is identified, and in the same time frame, the first confirmed US case is identified. At this time, the virus didn't seem to faze China because in mid January they allowed tens of thousands of people in Wuhan to attend a Lunar New Year banquet. This is confusing. If they were concerned, why would they allow this to go on? Or did they not know the potential of the virus? Or was the government afraid to call off this event because of public outrage? I'm just not sure, but we will find out soon. Finally, in late January, a top Chinese doctor announces that the virus can be passed between people. On January 23rd, the Chinese government finally determines it is time to shut down Wuhan and 3 other cities. But also around this time, approximately 5 million people leave the city without being screened. This is also confusing. Why shut down a city and allow people to roam freely, especially given the controlling nature of the Chinese Communist Party? Shortly after, the Chinese government begins building a new hospital in Wuhan and implements strict controls around the country. It now seems the CCP is in total emergency mode. But what actions did the government take to advise and help the rest of the world dealing with COVID 19? Not a lot from what I have seen, except ducking and hiding and spreading propaganda the world over. Let's review what we know about the actions of the CCP, some of which may surprise you as it did me. A good start is reporting that the government started in December to silence those in the know, doctors and medical staff specifically. In December and January, the Chinese government started monitoring and taking actions on any doctor or scientist providing any comments to the public. Doctors were reprimanded and told to stand down, which in China means or else. People have disappeared and died during this crisis with no investigations that I know of. This is one of the first signs of the government trying to hide pertinent information that the world needed. The Health Commission ordered the stop of testing for the virus, and vials of the results ordered destroyed. Why would any government do that? The cure or additional information critical to the crisis resolution could be in one of these vials. Bad move, especially now that it is public. But in true fashion, the CCP go on the offensive and start a propaganda campaign, all the while knowing what has occurred. China started using various methods to direct the blame elsewhere. One method used is from the Chinese propaganda machine, the Global Television Network Arabic station, with 14 million viewers. They begin broadcasts that insinuate it is our fault for the virus. That's pretty funny. Such a blatant lie, and what irritates me most is that our media is not fighting back against the lies because they are too focused on destroying our president, not true journalism. This allows the CCP to deflect and sell propaganda the world over without any counter U.S. actions. Chinese government officials are also involved, as most should already know, based on the comment from a high level Chinese government official that stated that our military, when in China, started the virus. This is really laughable, but yet our media lets it slide. Axios research showed that many Chinese diplomats have taken to Twitter to post false narratives. Now, what makes this strange is that China does not allow or support the use of Twitter. But why now is it approved? Maybe it's a good propaganda means. And finally, Even NATO knows the underhanded tactics of the propaganda, and they have publicly stated as much to all the people that they're responsible for. Containment of the fallout is another area China is focused on. Bloomberg research from a secret report to the White House finds that China concealed information on the virus and is underreported in the numbers of cases and deaths. Yep, in my opinion, that's true, but this is not a secret. All of you, all you have to do is look at the numbers being reported in relation to other countries. The data doesn't lie, but it also doesn't make sense. And as far as I'm concerned, the Chinese Communist Party is lying about the numbers and the deaths in the country. Now, to further contain the fallout, the CCP kicked out 3 of our news outlets: the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Wall Street Journal. I wonder why. I think we all know the reasons. To top off all this hiding, lying, and propaganda, we have profiteering going on during this crisis. A crisis started by China. What did they do? They tried to control the market on PPE, personal protective equipment, by hoarding the equipment as well as trying to buy everything they could from the open market. They spent over $1 billion to buy PPE from other countries and at the same time reduced the export of these critical items. Now, why would they do that? If you look at their reported numbers, it is not because of a need in the country. That says to me that they want to control the market for 2 reasons, in my opinion. One, it is a way to make millions of dollars during the crisis while taking advantage of the world. Or 2, they need it because of hidden spread in China, which they didn't report. But I assume it is for money and controlling the market, as well as being able to look like the good guy for providing this equipment at significant cost to the world. You make your own decision. Okay, I have provided facts for you to make up your mind on the actions of the Chinese Communist Party. But in my mind, China has a lot to explain, and one thing the world has learned is we cannot be dependent on a communist country because it is all about them and not the world. The evidence of inappropriate behavior is getting stronger each day, and I hope the underground folks in China will get the truth out. While I understand we are in a global economy era, it is time to significantly reduce our dependency on China. The CCP cannot be trusted and are attacking us on all fronts, as stated by Attorney General Barr. You stated, our number one enemy is the Chinese Communist Party. Wake up, media, and start doing your job and informing us of the truth. Take a pill for your TDS and start reporting on global events. It is time to bring manufacturing home, and the time is now. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I have a couple more yet that I'm working on and will be published soon. Be informed, stay safe. This is Charlie from CIC News for You, signing off.